I'm hoping that if I put the energy out into the universe that I want to do a short, sweet video without like an exponential amount of ranting, that maybe I can manifest that, because Lord knows I don't have any control over my mouth. A special thank you to my patrons, Acrophobe Christina, Wild Rose, Jam Beans, Jay Thomas, Lauren Chris, Michael B. Petty, That British Unicorn, Sky Andropolis, Debbie Elliott, D. Higgins, Juliet Q, and Kate O. Hey, hi, hello, back to another AmberLynn alert. Some of you guys are wondering why I changed the name from Amber Alert to AmberLynn Alert, and a really good friend of mine pointed out that it should be a little bit more searchable, and so that's why I changed it. Just thought it would be better. Anyway, moving on from that, sorry if I look more bog witchy than normal. I am damp. That came out sounding wrong. My hair is kind of damp right now. I went outside. It was like drizzly and rainy and awful. This is the only time I have to film. So, gotta do what you gotta do. Once more, wearing the Kaleidos and Angelica Nyqvist palette on my eyes, Club Nebula. I am so in love with this palette. I don't get anything from it. I just really want everyone to buy it so that I can see their looks and then like liberally steal their ideas. I would credit, of course, but like I will still also do your looks, even if you say don't do them. Just so you're aware. Anyway, let's move on into Amber. So far to date, she's put out 2 videos since the last time I talked about her. One video is talking about all the books that she read, which is going to be very, very short because I don't really have a lot of things to say about that. And then the second video is much more juicier. It's much more delicious. We can sink our little teeths into it. She's doing a Q&A. She's answering questions and addressing rumors about her, which I always kind of like. I like seeing what stuff she thinks is true and she thinks is false. And I phrase it like that for a very particular reason. We'll get into it. Anyway, like I said, let's jump into this video, shall we?
So I want to do kind of like every month, share the books that I read in said month. So sometimes I read a lot of books in one month, like January, and sometimes I might read maybe only 3.
First and foremost, I love the look here. I think she looks really cute. I don't think I was a very big fan of it when I first saw the shirt, but I think it actually looks really cute on her. I kind of like the bow. I don't know. I like the whole thing. I think she looks very adorable. She's exhibiting a lot like, if you guys have ever watched Criminal Minds, her look reminds me a lot of like Penelope Garcia from Criminal Minds. I really like it. What can I say?
Okay, before anyone says anything, I know the glare on these glasses is pretty horrific, so I do apologize for that.
I feel you, girl. I feel you. I had the same problems. I totally get it. The glare in the glasses can be pretty terrible. But, you know, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. I think most people don't really mind it. Most people actually tend to listen to it in the background, like most videos anyway, I've found. Or maybe that's just my experience. And so, like, people don't generally tend to notice the glare quite as much. Maybe. I don't know. The rest of this video is just her talking about the various books that she's read. Now, for the most part, I don't really have anything to say. People should read whatever they like, and, you know, it's all up to you. But one thing I will say is that I've noticed a major trend in the books that she reads. They're all very, like, young adult, which there's nothing wrong with it, right? One of my favorite series of books is the Harry Potter series, and, you know, you can tell, Weasley's Wizarding Wheezes. But the thing about reading just young adult novels is that it doesn't expose you to any more developed or adult ideas. If she does want to read young adult novels, this is the time of year. Maybe try reading The Hate You Give, right? Like, it's Black History Month. I think that's a really good young adult novel that exposes people who might not have a lot of experience with a different view of like police shootings. And I think that that's a really important thing. Maybe try reading a little bit more of a serious book. I think White Fragility is a great book to read. I think Lies, My Teacher Told Me, while not necessarily about Black history, is a fantastic book to also read. One of my personal favorites. If you guys haven't read it, really highly recommend it. Another fantastic book, though it is like, oof, it's a mammoth of a book that I recommend, especially for this time of month, is A Brief History of 7 Killings. Amazing book, so beautifully written. I love it. If the best way I can describe it is, it's about the assassination of Bob Marley, but it's like everything leading up to and everything in the aftermath of it. And Bob Marley himself, I think, is named exactly like twice in the entire novel, if I remember correctly. Most of the time he's just referred to as the singer. Very good book. That's one of the few books that I would recommend that the Audible experience is actually much better than the book reading experience, because a lot of it is written in, forgive me if I butcher this, but Padawan? Patwa? I don't remember. I'm bad at things, but it's the Jamaican language, and I've heard it when I went to Jamaica, and I can't, obviously, like, I don't know how to speak it. And so when I'm reading it, it's difficult for me to read it. But when I listen to it, it's much, much easier, especially after the first little bit, once you get into the habit of listening to it. And I think it really helps give voice to the character, especially the Audible version of it, because they have actual Jamaican individuals reading the Jamaican characters, and they've done such a good job. I really recommend it. Very, very good book. Very, very well narrated. Fantastic, and it exposes you to a lot of adult ideas. And I think that's a really big problem that Amber has as a whole, is that she's very stuck in like the 17, 20-year-old like mind frame. She doesn't expose herself to anything that's really beyond that. Same thing with the money, right? That's why I worry about how much she has put away, because she says she has a financial advisor. She says she has all of these people, but then the personality that she displays on camera, I'm sure, is much more edited than the personality that she actually has. Seems to give off the vibe of someone who's stuck perpetually in that mindset, right? And not really someone who's progressed past that. I said before in one of my videos that trauma can bring about that sort of arrested development, to coin a phrase. But I think if she can work with a therapist and maybe expose herself to some more adult ideas, maybe she can move past that and become a more well-rounded adult, as it were, right? Pardon the pun. So give different types of books a read. And I'm not saying that she has to jump into like very dry documentaries. A really, really good book that I think it's like fantastically well done, beautifully written, is Educated by Tara Westover. And it's got very adult ideas, adult themes, but it's also well done enough and narrated beautifully enough that I think someone who's not really had experience with this sort of book can actually get into it. Anyway, those would be all of my book recommendations. Right now I'm reading something really, really entertaining and kind of cutesy, but I'll nothing really like very, very major. I'm also like kind of done with the books. I'm looking for some book recommendations, something, because it's Black History Month. If you've got Black authors, or if you've got books about African American history, or just, you know, the diaspora at large, if you've got history of other regions, I would be very interested in reading it. I prefer more narrative storytelling than just like biographies and whatnot, but whatever. I'm very open to ideas. Leave me some suggestions down below if you guys are reading anything interesting, please. Anyway, I got off on a very massive rant about books, but I don't really have very much to say about this video. We're already at 7 minutes, so my want and need of a short video are probably not going to be answered. Whatever. Next.
So welcome to a new video.
2 things I will say about this video right off the bat. First, I think she looks adorable. I think the pink eyeshadow looks good on her. I think the pink lip looks good on her. I even like the bow. It's a little Jojo Siwa, but it's like kind of cute. It works for her. I like the look. I like the outfit. I think she looks very, very pretty here. I also really like the thumbnail that she had for this video. It made me giggle. I think, like, obviously trolling Lynn is like my favorite version of AmberLynn, because she's really good at it. I've often said this, but I feel like Amber is quite intelligent. She is like, she's by no means stupid. She's like very calculated. The personality she displays is like very curated to find it as like bland yet interesting as she possibly can. And she's managed to market herself into something online, even if it's not like a good publicity, right? She's still making a living off of this stuff. So, you know, I don't think she's dumb at all. And I really like when she does something that's particularly clever and entertaining. Like, I'm like, you know, kudos, good job. I'll give you like a round of applause for that. I really like it. I really like her, like the concealer. It's just funny. It's funny, and I was entertained. That's all I wanted to say.
Everything that I'm saying in this video is 100% truth, and you can believe what you want. I don't mean that in like a mean way. It's just really hard for me to come on video, you know, talk about my life and confess things and talk about things, and like people just assume that I'm not telling the truth.
So this is an interesting idea that she presents to harken back to what I said before about her believing, you know, what she believes to be true rather than what is objectively true, right? I think once more that Amber is a lot more self-aware, and she admits it in this video too, that she's a lot more self-aware than we give her credit for. But that doesn't mean that she's 100% self-aware. I know for a fact that for all that I try and be as introspective of my actions, there are still some stuff that I do that I have no idea I'm doing, right? Like, fun fact, when I get really stressed, I start scratching at my skin. Like, I'll scratch at my arms, at my neck, at my face even. And partner has said this, when I'm really, really stressed, I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up scratching. And it's not that I'm like, that I don't know that I'm scratching, but I've never put two and two together. It didn't occur to me. And it seems very obvious in hindsight, but it's like not when it's happening. And I feel this is the same thing, right? There are certain characteristics that she displays that are much easier to observe from a third party point of view than it is when you're like right in the middle of it. And if you have a therapist, maybe they can point it out, but sometimes it's people who have more exposure to you, stuff like, you know, like your loved ones, your family members, people who see you every day. A therapist only sees you so much of the time. So people who see you more regularly might be able to pick up on those habits when maybe a therapist might not see you as often, so it doesn't pick up on it. You know what I mean? That's why when I say that what she thinks is true, it doesn't necessarily make it objectively true. Second part of that is Amber has been known to obfuscate the truth in the past. So it makes everything she say feel a little bit more difficult to believe. Not to say that she's lying. It's just sometimes you might wonder if she's being 100% honest, you know?
The first one is, you are tired all the time. No, I wouldn't say that I'm tired all the time. I do feel like sluggish, but high. My vitamin D is like almost in the negatives.
So this is a question that I think a lot of people have asked her. I've seen it quite a few times in her comment section too, that she seems tired all the time. She talks about needing a nap. And right now she's saying that she's fixed her sleep schedule. I'm really glad. I know she was talking about how she's scared to fall asleep at night, and I can't, you know, I don't really know why that would be. I myself have like insomnia. My insomnia comes from different places, I think, than hers does. So I'm glad that whatever it was, that she was able to work through it, and that she is now able to fall asleep earlier at night and she's getting more restful sleep. But you can't discount the fact that a pretty long time ago, she had mentioned that she might have sleep apnea. She is a significantly heavier woman. She carries a lot of her weight up front, and that wouldn't surprise me if she did, right? And if she does have sleep apnea, that would also explain her difficulty falling asleep. That would also explain her lack of restful sleep, and that would explain her like lethargy and tiredness throughout the day. And then, of course, there's also the fact that there is a laziness component to it, right? Not all fat people are lazy in exactly the same way. Like for me, I am very, very active when I'm in the lab. I'm very, very active when I have stuff to do. But when I get home sometimes, I just tend to like sit on the couch and be on my phone. Not like, I actually don't watch all that much TV, but like I'll potato in one place. And I kind of feel like it's the same for Amber. I think that a lot of people who are fat tend to do this without really realizing it. You know, they don't realize that while they might be really active in one aspect of their life, they're not active in all aspects of their life. Whereas I have like friends, cousins, family members who are like significantly more trim, and they don't display that same behavioral pattern, right? Like they tend to be active in their professional lives as they are in their private lives. And I think that makes a pretty big difference as well.
You know in your heart you'll never be under 400 pounds. I'm not saying that. I just think it's what you believe. Honestly, I guess in my gut, I feel like you're right, that I subconsciously feel like I will never be below 400 pounds, which is such a horrible way to think. And I know putting negative energy out there is only gonna get negative energy and negative outcome. So I definitely need to reverse my way of thinking.
If Amber got to 400 pounds and maintained that for the rest of her life and never managed to lose another pound, I would still be happy for her. I think people think that the only way that you have had a successful weight loss journey is if you lose 100% of the weight that you carry, and then you are like J-Lo thin, right? Like J-Lo, J-Law, both of them, right? And that's not what it's about at all. I said this before in relation to Chantal. I'll say it again in relation to Amber. I think just losing like 40%, like 10% of her body weight is a great thing. It will greatly enhance the comfort that you feel within your own body. It will greatly enhance your body's ability to do its job. It will greatly enhance your life expectancy and your life comfort as you age. All of those things. So it's not about how pretty you look. It's not about whether or not you're ever going to look conventional, right? It's got nothing to do with that. If that was what I was judging it on, I would not be as big a fan of Obese to Beast as I am, right? Because he's talked openly about his loose skin and how he has no plans of removing it. And I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's great, in fact. Don't remove it. He has 100% right to look comfortable in his skin, and there's nothing wrong with the way that he looks, in my opinion. I think every extra skin fold that he has is a testament to how far he's come. It's a mark of strength as far as I'm concerned. And I feel the same way as if you lose like say if Amber loses like, I don't know how much she weighs right now, but at like 120 pounds and she's like at 400 pounds and she maintains that. She was so much more active and agile and able at 400 pounds than she is right now. And just to get back to that would be a great victory for her.
You think you know better than professionals? No, I just know that every said professional in different stages of their work says different things. A weight loss surgeon will say something different than a dietitian will say something different than a nutritionist will say something different than a weight loss doctor. The list can go on. So it is hard to focus in and listen to one of them when they all say something different.
So she isn't wrong about this. When you have a team of professionals that you're working with, they are all going to tell you something different because they're all giving you advice based on their particular specialties, right? So a therapist will tell you, why do you eat? They'll try and work with you on that. A dietitian will tell you how you should eat. And a weight loss doctor will tell you what you should eat to lose weight, right? All three of them have different specialities, and all three of them will give you different ideas and plans based on their specialities. This is why you need not one person, two people, but a team of individuals, and they all need to talk to each other. They all need to come up with a plan together. Because a therapist just saying, this is why you're eating and maybe this is what you should stop doing might be great in a bubble. But if, say, you're like Chantel and your dietitian is telling you, hey, do intuitive eating, but your doctor is meanwhile saying, hey, if you eat fat, you will have terrible stomach symptoms. If you eat sugar, you might have like insulin related issues. Maybe don't do those things. And they're not talking to each other. Then she's just going to be like, okay, well, I like this advice better, so I'm just going to do this, right? So I don't think that having multiple individuals is a bad thing. I actually think that if you're not sure, get a second opinion, get a third opinion, hell, get even a fourth opinion. But if at the end of 4 opinions, everybody's telling you similar information and you've given them the same data to start with from which to draw conclusions, and they're giving you similar information, you just have to learn to accept that, hey, I'm wrong and they're right and they do know what they're talking about. And as far as your health team goes, they all need to talk to each other so they can come up with a cohesive plan so that each one of them can have an input, because each one of them is informing only one aspect of your life. They need to talk to each other. They need to come up with a cohesive plan, right? Because your health will impact all aspects of your life.
You didn't understand what the protocol for Patreon really was when you started it. No, I completely understand what the protocol was, but deep down, I felt in my gut that I was making a bad choice, but I still wanted to do it because so many people request to see my poetry and read my writing. And I feel like it would be not as easy for the haters to find my writing if I had people pay for it. And you guys, I'm on social media. This is my job. A lot of people have Patreon. A lot of people sell their poetry. So I kind of just like put 2 and 2 together and I was like, oh, this could be good for me. But then when I realized my gut was telling me no, that I should keep my writing kind of private, I just canceled it.
Oh my God, ALR's Patreon. I wish I could give you a comprehensive breakdown, but I cannot, and I was not a Patreon member, so I don't know. I would recommend watching Zach's video and Callie's video. Both of them did a fantastic job. I'll see if I can throw them both up in the cards up above if you guys want to go check them out. They both did a great job, and they do a much better job covering this stuff than I did, because once more, I'm not on the internet as much as I think people think I am. Well, I mean, I am. I am on the internet a lot, but I am on cheapoldhouses.com looking at really old, potentially haunted houses that I can buy for like $10,000 and then renovate. I don't spend a lot of my time on like YouTube, especially not Instagram, and like catch all of the various things that the girls are doing. And so if it's not on Twitter, I will just not even know that things are happening.
You want to create content, but all the hate holds you back. Yes, there's a lot of content I want to create, but I just feel very like I'm stuck in this little box, and I'm trying to, dig my way out. It's just really hard because I feel like people expect me to be a certain AmberLynn because this is how I started my channel, but yet everyone changes their channel eventually. And I just feel like with the following that I have and the following that certain people have, I'm not going to say anything. If I'm not, or they're not changing their channel for ways that'll benefit them and their entertainment, then people get upset about it.
So here's the thing. When you transition to different type of content, there will be a percentage of your audience that will come with you, right? Only a percentage, because not everyone is interested in the same thing. So for me, for example, I've made a bunch of videos, and a lot of them are not on the topic of AmberLynn or Chantel. They're not all about our girls. A lot of my videos are just about the topic of health. I haven't actually been able to do as many as I would like recently, mostly just because Chantel's like live drama stuff is like taking a lot of my time, and I don't have as much time to devote to this as I used to. So I have, what I mean to say is I have all of that content on here too, right? And those videos get lower views. I know they're going to get lower views. I don't generally care quite as much because I still want to make that content. But when you are trying to transition your audience from one thing to another, you are going to lose people and you're going to have lower views, at least in the beginning. And if you do a good enough job at the transition, you do a good enough job in the new content, then new people will sign up to watch that new content who had no interest in the previous content, right? But while that transition's happening, your views are going to go down, your money's going to go down, your subscriber count might go down. The problem with Amber is that she never actually gives it enough time to breathe. This isn't something that takes like a couple of videos, a couple of weeks. This will take months to do correctly, maybe even a year, maybe 2 years, I don't know. But it will take a while. So when her views dip, when her AdSense money dips, she goes back to trolling. She goes back to the things she knows will get her views. And unfortunately, that's counterproductive. You can't try and move your audience away from the stuff that you were doing before because you're no longer interested in doing it, and not expect that kind of backlash, not expect that kind of dip, right? And then if you try and go back to try and bring all of that back so that you don't lose money, well, then you're going to reverse any progress you might have made with your new audience, right? They might watch it like, oh, she only did this as a one-off. Ugh, I'm clicking out. I'm unsubscribing. So it's a lose-lose situation. You have to understand that this is the path you want to commit to, and then just 100% whole hog commit to it, and then work through the transition and the growing pains, essentially. And you got to do it with 100%, not this half-ass thing that you do right now.
You love doing makeup. Honestly, not really. I get really frustrated because I want everything to be perfect. I want both my winged eyeliners to look perfect, and I want the eyeshadow to look perfect, and the skin tone and all this, but I know that I'm not like a makeup guru, a beauty guru, and it's never going to be perfect, but I like the outcome.
I don't know. I think so. Okay. This is not to tell everybody else how they should do their makeups or what they should find fun, but I personally find makeup to be very therapeutic. I do the pandemic stuff. I have not been going in every single day for work, so I have some days where I work from home, some days where I don't work from home and I have to go into the office. And so I don't need to put on makeup every day, but I do. It's my like 20 minutes of zen in the morning. I have a cup of coffee, I do my makeup, and it makes me happy. It's like adult face painting, essentially. And I use that time because it's very mechanical for me when I'm applying my makeup, that I use that time to kind of like plan my day out. Okay, I have to do this, 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 and this, make a mental checklist. Sometimes I'll even put notes down so that I know what I have to accomplish, that I try and accomplish as much as possible, right? And it just helps me get myself together for the day. She doesn't have to do that if she doesn't want to. If it's not a thing that she finds fun. But what I've found is that the more I do makeup, the better I get at it. Like with most things, it's all about practice. So she might not be good at it now, but most people aren't born great at it, right? Like there's very few James Charles that just sort of come out, you know, and they're like 16 years old and they're like flawless makeup on, right? Very few people are that good. Most people will put makeup on and they work at it and they work at it and it looks good and it looks wonky. And they kind of figure it out and they get better and better and better at it. And that's how it was with me. And I think almost anybody has the capability of learning it. It's just a matter of doing it again and again.
You enjoy the negative attention? No, not in the way that you guys probably think. It's like, sometimes I appreciate it because it keeps the ball rolling. But I don't like the negative attention where people make up shit. Like that's the part where I'm just like, okay, we need to slow down for a second. Because by making up stuff, my literal reputation on YouTube is created by a bunch of people who hate me. And it's like, for a while there, I was like, oh my God, am I crazy? Like, am I this? Am I these ways that people make me seem to be? But then everyone in my real life is like, AmberLynn, no. We know the real you. Calm down. It's okay. If it wasn't for the people in my real life, I probably would be going more crazy than I'm already going.
See, this is as clear an admission of what we're talking about as I think we'll ever get with her. While she is not wrong, right, that it gets like the ball rolling, but it doesn't make her happy. I don't think that's what most people are alleging. We don't think that the negative attention, quote unquote, makes her happy. But we do think that it, like she said, gets the ball rolling. It keeps people engaged. And she does want that, right? So we're not saying that she's using that kind of attention for personal satisfaction and happiness, but she is using that negative attention. And unfortunately, she does actively try and garner it because she needs it for engagement, she needs it for views, she needs it for AdSense. And I think it's harmful. I think it's harmful for her in that she might gain from it financially, but I think the negative toll that it takes on her mental health is not worth it. But what do I know, right? Like no one can take care of your mental health if you're not willing to take care of your mental health yourself. And that's the position that I think she is in. I think that to secure the feasibility and financial strength of her channel, she's willing to sacrifice her mental health. And unfortunately, I think it's only going to harm her in the long run.
There's probably mushrooms and fungi growing in your folds. Well, damn, how did you know?
Amber with the sass. I like that. I like sassy, trolly AmberLynn a lot more than I like preachy AmberLynn, okay? Or like Nutrition Lynn. I really don't like Nutrition Lynn.
You still don't have health insurance. I do.
Okay, I'm going to end it on this note. She talks a lot more about other things. Nothing really I have anything to add to. But she says she got insurance. Yay! I am so happy to hear that she has insurance. Like, goddamn, you guys have no idea how much I've been, like, hoping and praying that she will get insurance. It is so beneficial for her. And I hope that Becky also has insurance, but I don't know. She hasn't updated on that. I'll just hope for the best. I'm going to hope and pray and wish for the best because I'm feeling like a slightly more optimistic and, like, positive mood today. Anyway, that will be it for me. Yeah, Amber's week was pretty low-key. By the time you guys see this, she'll probably have another video up. She has one up every couple of days, and I am notoriously late with my videos all of the time. So, who knows? Let's see. And I think that's it. Yeah, that will be it. All right. I'm going to get going. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you hated it, you can give me a thumbs down. That's totally okay. I respect everybody's opinions here. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit the notification bell down below and hit all if you want to know when I upload any video right away. If you want to subscribe to some of my other stuff, you can. Fun fact, I have an Instagram. There's some food stuff, some life stuff. Not a lot right now, but I'll get back to it. There'll be more stuff, I promise. I also have a Twitter. I'm a little toxic and a little petty, but I'm also the easiest reach there, and it's the best place to interact with me. And if you want to know any of my opinions on like non-foodie, beauty, food, health related stuff, that's where you can find all that junk. And I've got a Patreon. Think of Patreon as the tip jar for the internet. So if you like the job that I'm doing here and you would like me to continue, hey, consider tossing a few coins in my direction. You don't have to. It's not necessary. But if you did, I would really appreciate it. Anyway, as always, I'm Jasmine, the sequel. And I am not relatable. Peace.